Hello and welcome everyone to our very first edition of Coach's Corner for the 2015 season. Zach By sitting alongside head coach Greg Cattuso. Coach, first of all, thanks for joining us. And what are your thoughts here as you enter your first game week, if you will?
Well, you know, we're excited. It's a chance to play against an FBS opponent. I think school history, first time, and you know, there's a lot of challenges presented with that, but we're excited about it, and I think the kids are tired of, like everybody in the country right now, is tired of playing against each other, and looking forward to the challenge.
Now you have a young team. Of course, you're going to play Buffalo this Saturday, a tenured team, 13 senior starters. But as far as just your own focus, how has your team been working?
They work hard. I've never had an issue with our team since the day I got here. That first frozen spring practice morning at 6 a.m. and it was 14 degrees, and they were out early working. They've always worked hard. You know, we just have to work smarter and more efficiently, and I think the youth right now, you know, we're getting some offsides and some stupid penalties, the kind of things we were really good at last year, not having those problems. So, you know, turnovers and penalties are a big concern when you're young, and I think that, you know, we're getting there. We're making progress. They're learning how to practice better, and I think that's a big part of the success we had last year was how well we practiced.
You as a coach, when you're coaching this type of youth, and it's really accentuated this year because there's talent everywhere, but very, very young talent. Well, what sort of challenges does that present to you personally?
We just have to be patient. You know, that's the hardest part for me, is I expect them to be, you know, full speed at day 2 or day 3, and it's not been that way. And I think, you know, the biggest part is for me and the coaching staff and for everybody is patience. We have only 3 seniors on our team will be starting. In the entire 2 deep, 44 players, there's only 5 seniors, you know, of the 11 deep. So, you know, we've got work to do, and we have to understand that we have to be patient and bring our young players along. That said, it's also an exciting time because, you know, there's depth, and we have a lot of talented young men who are going to get better and better every week, and hopefully, you know, if we can survive early, you know, we can maybe excel late, and that's really what we're hoping to do.
Well, you and I talked last spring. You came right out and said, hey, the biggest question mark for us is quarterback in this league and how good it is. To be successful, you got to be pretty good at that position. Graduate Will Fiacchi, and this past week you named DJ Crook as a starter. What has he shown you leading up to this point that gives him that starting nod?
He's got a maturity about him in the sense that he's been in a college game. You know, he has a little better grasp of the offense. I think Nevin Sussman has been outstanding as well. We're really comfortable with our young quarterbacks, and as we go along in the future, I think you're going to see Nevin Sussman, you know, every week, hopefully. You know, we're not going to redshirt him. We're going to let him fight for the job. And even though we're not going to be a 2-quarterback system, I think there's place for Nevin to play. And you know, we're going to try to redshirt Will Brunson, but he's just a young, you know, gunslinger, and we're excited about him as well. So I think the future's bright. I think that the young kids, they're generating enthusiasm. But that said, there's just, we don't have a running back with a college carry right now. You know, we'll be starting a sophomore at tight end, 3 freshmen will carry the ball. That's never carried in a college game before. Receiving core are sophomores, and 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and the tight end's a sophomore. So it's pretty young. Pretty young group.
Is that keeping you up at night a little bit?
Not really. I mean, I think for us the main thing is like I said, is we got to survive early and kind of build. And last year was different. We were kind of who we were early. I think we had some senior leadership and some things, and we got better. But I think this team has the potential to really grow as the season goes on.
Who's a guy so far, and obviously you haven't started playing games yet, but through camp and preseason, that stuck out to you maybe more than the rest? Say, you know, this kid has a chance to be a really good player.
That's a hard question when there's so many of them
right.
to choose from. I think Z. Roberson is a kid who's got that explosive ability, and even though he's a different type of player than Josh Gontarek, he has the same kind of a chance to be a game changer at times. He gives us a deep threat. He's got great size. I think he's, you know, Crockett in the slot is a redshirt freshman. It'll be his first college game, but he's dynamic and has a chance. And I think the 3 running backs, we're excited about these 3 freshman running backs, and I think they're all dynamic, they're all different, and they all bring a little different things to the table. So it's, you know, it's a nice group on offense. And really defensively, you know, I think Malachi Hoskins has really had a great camp, and he's kind of stepping up and giving us another leader on defense besides Nicastro. And Deshaunte Thompson is rotating with the ones at Mike linebacker. I think you got to keep an eye on him. Rayshon on the corner has been really made the most improvement of probably anybody on the team in the last year. So we're making progress. It's just going to be a battle in every week and how we grow and how we handle pressure.
That's certainly not a bad thing. Last question before we let you get out of here. Buffalo, right on the horizon. As you mentioned in the outset, first FBS opponent in the school's history. I was at practice a couple weeks ago, and you guys ended that practice with beat Buffalo. What is, I mentioned keeping you up at night. I know you watch film. What do they bring to the table that presents some problems or maybe an advantage that you could exploit?
Well, I mean, they've 2 years ago they played in a bowl game,
Yep.
So they're good, and they have a fifth-year quarterback. They're kind of like we were last year in the sense. They have a new staff. I think the head coach is outstanding. They have a fifth-year quarterback. They have a returning 1,400-yard rusher. They have a receiver that's a returner that's been a good player for them. They're going to probably be a little bigger and faster than us. I think their offensive line, I just saw something. They're the 14th biggest in Division I. So we've got a lot of obstacles, but ultimately, we know if we play our game and we can dictate the flow a little bit, that we'll have a chance to win, and that's what it's all about, is who's going to control the flow. You're going to see two similar teams in theory, but they play at a fast tempo, and we're certainly going to try to milk that clock and play our game and try to control things a little bit. So it'll be an interesting game.
Well, I can't wait to get out there and call the game and watch you guys play, and I'm definitely excited for the upcoming season. Appreciate you spending a couple minutes with us.
No problem. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it.
All right, that'll do it for our first edition of Coach's Corner. You'll be able to check us out next week as we recap the Buffalo game and look ahead to the rest of the schedule. For Zach By, Greg Cattuso, see you next time.